All right, 1 second.
That was quick.
1 second. All right. That was quick, babes.
That was very quick.
How are you feeling? What?
What?
No, what were you saying? You just said something.
I said that was quick.
You said something after that, though.
I don't know what that would have been.
Oh, it's probably not okay. This is one of the reasons why I don't like doing it here, because you're always interrupting me. But we had a situation and had to come up with something fast.
Yeah.
Yes. So, babes, yesterday was Friday, February 12th, and my alarm went off at 5:45. No, actually, I woke up a minute before it officially started. But in any event, I got up, got ready, and was going to go over to your place, but the night before, there were some reports that there might be snow. So I decided to check the weather, and apparently it had snowed something like 4 inches overnight. Now, in Denver, that's not that big of a deal, and I know this because I lived there for 6 years. But in Portland,
I don't know how you're able to manage.
Yes, they don't deal with snow as well here. No. So a little bit after 7, I started going on the Lyft app. And around 7:30, it kicked me off saying there was no available drivers, which is when I called you. We waited like an hour. I tried again. I got somebody 2 minutes before they were supposed to arrive. They canceled. Somebody else picked it up, but they were going to be a while. And by this time, I'd gone downstairs. Some of the snow had gotten into this little bag that I use to carry stuff sometimes, because I had a few things back, that I was carrying over to your place, and my clothes were there in that bag. So I came upstairs. I called you and said, hey, we're now like 10 minutes away, but this might be a little tricky. Why don't we wait until noon? And then we reassessed then. It was not looking good. We decided to put off me coming over to your place. And after that, I watched the news from KGW, which is Channel 8 here, because they post their first segment of the noon news broadcast on YouTube, and they said that PBOT, which is basically in charge of running the roads in Portland, was advising people to stay in unless it was absolutely necessary. We also expected a lot more snow last night, which I believe we got, and there is some debate right now on whether or not we're going to get rain tomorrow night or freezing rain. Ice. Because
or more freezing, more freezing rain,
The debate, I've seen different weather forecasters say alternate different things, so we're not sure right now. But, yes.
Yeah, because I've checked. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I was just about to say real quick, babes. While I was regretting not going over to your place on Thursday, because it had come up in my mind a little bit, but it wasn't a heavy consideration at the time. It may have actually been a good thing that I didn't come over, even if it doesn't end up doing anything crazy tomorrow, because your food order got canceled because of this weather.
No, that's another ordeal. Right. That was another ordeal I went through. So I was supposed to get a grocery order between 1 and 2. I think I wait for about a couple hours.
You called me a little bit after 4.
A little bit after 4, and I'm like, what is going on? And so I called him and said, and because you use this app more than I do,
the Walmart.
I said, what do you think I should do? Because nobody has notified me. I haven't gotten any calls. I haven't gotten any messages or emails, and I've been checking periodically, and I'm worried, and then he suggested, well, maybe there's a contact thing you can contact them with. So I checked it out. I ended up talking to the nice agent who helped me a lot, actually. And so I asked, well, where do I go to cancel? And she just said, oh, I can just cancel it for you. And I said, okay. And I said, just could you please cancel it for me? And she did, which was good because I didn't want to be charged for stuff I didn't get.
But now you're low on food.
Yeah, I am. But I have some things I can work with. I'm supposed to get something tomorrow. I'm not sure how that's going to work. We'll just see how the morning goes. So I'm supposed to get another order from Instacart between 9 and 11.
What did you put in for your order, if you don't mind me asking?
Just stuff that I would want to use, like, what did I put in there? I actually have to go in there and look because I think I want to edit it. I think I bought some meat. I bought some soup. What else did I get? I got some other stuff. But it was they would have lasted me for at least a few more days.
Walk me through this. What was going through your mind from Thursday night until like mid-afternoon? Because I already gave my experience. Tell me about yours.
Well, what I was thinking is, because I heard that there may be snow in the lowlands, in the valley, and I thought, well, how much snow is there going to be? Because I thought, well, if it's an inch of snow, no problem, right? You would probably be able to travel in that.
Yeah.
But then I was hearing like before Thursday, I'm like, oh my goodness, we might have snow, but it might be more snow, because, they weren't giving me like a real, picture about what it's going to look like for the next few days. And then I was thinking about this Thursday night until the morning. I'm like, wait a minute. What if he can't get here and it's going to be early in the morning? I'm wondering if there's going to be any dry. And I didn't even think about that really until that night, until the morning. And I thought, well, maybe I should wait until tomorrow because we'll probably talk about it. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen.
Then I called you. What was going through your mind around 7 a.m. yesterday?
I was thinking, okay, either he's on his way here or something's wrong and he hasn't left his house yet.
What did you think after we talked?
Honestly, I was bummed out because that means I wasn't going to see you, and I was looking forward to seeing you because I wanted to cook with you, and I had something for you, and I was a little bummed out, but it wasn't like, it didn't ruin my day. It was just crazy, and I started hearing the freezing rain just falling down outside my window, and it was a lot. And I also heard the wind, and because the wind was just blowing so hard, it was literally whistling. I mean, it was just, I'm like, I'm really glad I'm not outside. I'm really glad I'm not outside because I was on my way downstairs because I thought, well, maybe I should, because when you called me, I thought, oh, maybe you're downstairs already or on your way.
I called you 7:30.
Right, because I was already on my way downstairs to check my mail, and I thought, oh, maybe he is outside. But then I thought, well, wait a minute, if there's a lot of snow on the ground, how in the world is he going to get from the vehicle to the door if there's that much snow on the ground? Because I was afraid that maybe.
But also, I always call you before I leave my place because instead of having you buzz me in, I like it when you wait outside for me.
Right. But then I asked you the night before. I said, hey, I really don't want to wait outside because if there's going to be snow out there, it's going to be freezing.
No, I know, Dave, but we agreed that you would wait in the lobby, though. So
yes,
I still would have called.
Yeah, and that's why I was on my way downstairs because I thought, oh, maybe he's on his way here. I just, have to wait downstairs. And then you said, we have to have a discussion. I'm like, oh, I know what that means. I don't know what that means. I know exactly what that means. Yeah. We have to talk or we have to have a discussion. That probably means it's something bad.
Yeah, it rarely is like, we have to have a discussion. I just won the lottery, so we're going to Vegas this weekend to live it up.
And if I have to, and I've never said this before, but if I ever said we have to talk, you could bet it's probably really bad. Or,
unless you say something like, we have to talk. I don't think you're getting enough oral sex. So let's talk about increasing that.
All right. Let's go skip that.
Let's skip that, babes.
Yes. Thank you.
Speaking of sex, babes, when we were on the phone yesterday, I didn't know this, but you told me that Larry Flint died. I checked it up. Apparently, he passed away on February 9th.
Yeah, I thought it was, actually, I thought it was the 10th, but anyway, he died of heart failure.
Yeah, which is odd because we had just watched the biopic a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, it was literally a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
How did you feel when you heard the news of his passing? And where did you hear it at?
Yeah, I must have seen it online or something. I can't remember, but how'd I feel? It didn't surprise me. I don't really think of it. No.
Okay.
No, I mean, I'm sad when anybody dies. It's not like I wasn't, I didn't feel anything. It's just, I didn't think he was like a legendary icon in my mind. I just thought, well, he had this dirty magazine and he had some health issues and no wonder he died.
Ex-presidential candidate, Larry Flint.
Yeah, and I still thought he was a sleazoid, but I respect the fact that he has stood up for people's free speech as much as I didn't like the guy, but, and as much as I was learning about the guy in the movie, I think what I could take away from that movie is the fact that he, it was a good storyline. It had some depth to it, no matter what you thought about his vocation.
From what I understand, and again, I didn't spend a lifetime with him, and I've only read articles about him, watched different biographies of Mr. Flint, but it kind of sounds like they toned down how crazy his life was for the movie.
He might have been seriously crazy.
Yeah, but
you think there would have been...
I mean, one of my big complaints about the movie is they don't cover his presidential run at all. There are other things, but a lot of stuff didn't come out until after the film. Like, I don't think he discovered who the guy who shot him was until the early 2000s when he was on death row for something else. But then he spoke up and said
something else.
Yeah, he killed three people. The guy who shot Larry Flint went on the shoot and killed 3 other people, and I think he was a white supremacist. And when he was about to get executed, Larry Flint spoke up and said that he should spend the rest of his life in jail but not be executed because he was very anti-death penalty.
Now that is something I would disagree with him on. I think he should have completely.
But it's not whether or not it's not whether or not you agree with everything he does. It's how interesting of a figure is he. And I think he's very interesting. Like, I find his relationship with Jerry Falwell fascinating to me. And in the movie, they cover the trial. They talk about the obscenity trial and the what's the word? The trial for the of course I'm skipping on the word right now, but they don't cover what?
Are you talking about the prosecutor in the trial?
No, I'm talking about the trial when Jerry Falwell sued him. But they don't talk about, which I think is even more fascinating, is them becoming friends after the trial.
I know. I would have loved to have seen more, after the aftermath of, what's her name? His wife, Althea's death.
Yeah.
What happened after that? And what happened with him and Jerry Falwell? Because I was thinking that they were, enemies for the rest of their life. But they managed to get around that. They managed to, somehow break the barrier somewhat.
I don't think that they were best friends, but they definitely became friendly with each other.
Right. I was surprised when he told me that Larry Flynt later on considered Jerry Falwell a friend afterwards.
It's bizarre stuff, babes.
It is really bizarre. You're probably... Huh?
It shows you how strange life can be.
Yes. And what I was going to say is that, and now I forgot my point. Hold on. Yeah, it is strange. It is very strange. And, you're probably right. He probably may have been a lot crazier or has done even more crazier things, beyond this movie, outside of this movie, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, again, running for president was pretty crazy. But you need people who are crazy to push the boundaries, to make it acceptable for other people to color outside the lines, for lack of a better term.
I suppose.
I know that Woody Harrelson wrote something this week calling Larry Flynt the most honest person he's ever known.
So he actually spent time with him.
Yeah, Woody Harrelson did an interview. So he did two things. He wrote something about Larry Flynt, but a few years ago he gave an interview and he talked about how he wanted to meet him before playing him in the movie to see if he liked the guy or not. And he said that he was a likable guy. And I don't think that they became best friends, but they were definitely on good terms with each other.
That's really cool that he was able to spend time with somebody that he was going to be playing, because he was really good.
Oh, Woody Harrelson's a great actor, and that movie shows it,
Mm-hmm.
But
did you say that he was...
Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask, did you say that he was nominated for an Oscar for that role?
Yes, he was nominated for Best Actor, and I forgot who won it. But in my opinion, he should have won. And it's also difficult because not only are you playing an interesting character, but it's a real-life person who was still alive when the film came out. So that makes it even more problematic. And he pulled it off great, I thought. Right,
yeah.
Even crazy Courtney Love was good in the movie.
I know. She is, I mean, I don't know who this Althea person is, but if she was playing a young drugged out woman, married to Larry Flynt, well, she certainly played the role very well.
I imagine that Courtney Love had a lot of experience being a young drugged out woman.
Of course, she had to. I mean, she's crazy Courtney. What can you say?
Right. Not as much experience.
She was married to Kurt. She was married to Kurt Cobain, for crying out loud.
A lot of people have speculated that she drove him to suicide.
Really?
But that's a story for another time.
Can someone, I don't know, I mean, I kind of go back and forth with this. Can someone really drive a person to suicide? Can they really have power? Yeah,
I don't think so. But an argument would be if you take somebody who's domineering, and you take gender out of this, so it could be a domineering man or woman, and you put them with somebody who's timid, who also has depression issues. In some circumstance, it's not that person makes them kill themselves, but that person may amplify emotions that lead to suicide. If that makes any sense.
I think so. Okay. I think I understand what you mean. Like, it could give them the idea of possibly taking themselves out to be away from this person.
It's not necessarily that, but it pushes them over the edge. It's like that extra nudge off the cliff. Like they're already standing at the precipice of the cliff, but then that person comes along and gives them a little bit extra push.
Okay, I think I understand what you mean. It contributes.
Yeah,
that person
it's not the only fact.
No, there's several factors, but that person is contributing to it.
Correct.
For sure. That makes sense.
Yes. You know who else passed away, babes?
Who else?
Chick Corea.
Oh, yes. So I don't know too much about Chick Corea, but I heard like some examples of his fusion stuff.
It's pretty good. I was listening to BBC Six this morning, and they were playing a lot of his music, and it sounded really, really cool. I've known people who were into his stuff. When I moved to Colorado in 2006, one of the first students I met was really, really into jazz, and he was telling me about how awesome Chick Corea was. Apparently, he used to play with Miles Davis.
Wow.
So I'm going to have to check his stuff out, and really I should have been studying his music earlier, just as a fan of music in general. But you can't listen to everything. Or can you, Jaylo?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. There's so much out there.
Yes. So, babes, tell me about the rest of your day. After we get off the phone at 7:30, we already know that things went south with Walmart, but what else happened to you?
Not a whole lot. I just made something simple for dinner for myself. Listened to some podcasts, listened to some tunes. I turned on the heater because it was starting to get really cold in the beginning of the day. Yeah, not a lot. I was just kind of relaxing and, rather than thinking, oh, this is a horrible day, I'm thinking, well, it could have been a lot worse, and I'm not out in the snow, and I'm keeping warm up here on the third floor. And I feel bad for anyone who has to be out in the snow.
I do too.
So, it was not eventful. I mean, it wasn't like an iconic day by any means, but it was a relaxing evening.
You had eggs for dinner.
I did. I had an egg. I made it into a sandwich because I do like eggs, and and they were cheesy because I used the rest of my cheese that I had, and came out pretty good.
What did you have for breakfast this morning? Because I called you earlier, and you said that you were just about getting ready to eat.
Well, I actually didn't eat anything. I decided to just make myself a nice mug of cocoa because I thought, well, I'll just whip up something easy for lunch and figure out what I'm going to do for dinner.
Oh, what are your ideas so far?
For my meal?
Lunch. Yes.
I don't know if I'm going to do something with the beans. I'm not too sure about that. I have something in the fridge that's thawing out, but I think it might be thawed out by tomorrow. I have a couple of those ideas. I might do something with rice. I'm not sure yet. I have some ideas.
Well, good.
And I don't know how my order will turn out tomorrow. And I'm not sure if they're even going to be able to get to my building, but we will see what happens.
We will, babes.
And it looks like most likely we won't see each other tomorrow, which is a bummer. But
I know.
okay.
It's just, I mean, we had talked about the idea of let's see how the weather is on Sunday morning. But honestly, I would right now put that at like a 1% chance.
Okay.
You know, even though it's going to be
Right.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've postponed Valentine's Day in the past until the next week, so.
Also, I was considerate enough to get you a gift, and you decided that this year you were going to get me nothing.
I never said that.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
That's the impression I got, babes.
Well, if it would have come yesterday, you would have had something. No, I wouldn't. What?
When I go over to your place on Thursday, will you have a gift for me?
Maybe I will.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
Maybe I will.
Okay, all right. If you don't give me a Valentine's gift, can I just save your gift that I got you until your birthday?
No. That is not. No. You cannot combine. Well, you could combine presents, but that wouldn't make.
What?
No. If you were living in another city and you know for sure that you wouldn't be able to see me on Valentine's Day, I would understand the combination gift, and I've had that happen before. But being that you're in the same city, no.
All right. Well, you're gonna have a gift for me then. I'm expecting.
Yes, I will make sure I have something. Yes. Yes, and I think you will like it.
Very good.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, instead of giving you hold on. I was making a joke. Well, instead of giving you a present, I could just give you my presents. But
oh my goodness.
Just kidding.
Oh my goodness. Yes. It's weird figuring out the timing of when to talk and when not. Because if I get something a pause, then I'll start to talk and then you'll be like, well, let me show you some humor.
Well, it's hard because since we're both on cell phones, our cell phones aren't exactly the clearest.
Correct.
And there is a delay a lot of times when you're trying to do like a conference call too. It's not like we have, home phones where we can do that no problem.
Oh my God, babes, I gotta tell you something. So,
what happened?
Thursday night, I have a conversation with some friends of mine, right? And one of them is an atheist, but he's thinking about converting to Christianity. He's also like one of these people who just like talks over people all the time. Not just me, but with everybody. And I think, well, you know my theory. I don't want to get too much into it, but he might be a little bit on the spectrum. Anyway, so I'm trying to like ask him a question, and he just keeps interrupting me. And it's just like, I don't know. Is it my place to tell him that he interrupts people a lot?
Well, if you don't tell him, who else is going to tell him? Has anybody ever talked to him about that?
No, it's funny when it happens to other people, though.
I think you should honestly talk to him. I mean, you guys have been friends for years, right?
Almost 15 years.
I know who this person is, by the way. I believe I do. Why don't you just tell him, hey, I've been noticing that sometimes when we talk, you interrupt me a lot. Now,
but it's not just me. It's not like it's targeted towards me. He does that with a lot of people, I've noticed.
He has to sit and listen. Now, I know that we have interrupted each other before, but I think there's a balance that we have because sometimes I won't. Sometimes I will just sit there and just listen to what you have to say because I want to know exactly what your point is. But I really think you should talk to him about it. If it's bothering you that much, you should be able to go to him and tell him that. He may not understand you, but at least you went out of your way to tell him that, because if nobody has told him that, I mean, maybe you're the person to tell him that.
He's very intellectually smart, but emotionally, he still has some work, I think.
Yes,
it was
would imagine.
Funny. I went to visit him in Eugene. Now I'm just blowing up this person's spot. Maybe it was another a few years ago. I'm just realizing I might as well say his name, but I'm not going to. And we were having lunch. It was me, him, and somebody who was friends with him.
Mm-hmm.
And the person who was with us was making a good point. So my friend starts to interrupt him, and he's just like, "Hold on, dude. I got to finish this." And that made me laugh.
He had to finish his conversation.
He had to finish his point. And I forgot what we were talking about, but I remember thinking this guy was making a lot of sense. His friends.
Do you remember what he said?
I just said, I forgot what we were talking about.
Okay, that's too bad, because then you didn't really know what he was going to say, how he was going to finish the conversation, because this person interrupted.
I did know, because I just told you, he told my friend, "Hold on, let me finish this point."
Yeah, I honestly think that you should talk to him about that, because that's not very, that's kind of rude, actually.
Yes.
I think you should, because it sounds like nobody has. I mean, I don't know if anyone has, but maybe you're just the person to tell this guy.
I mean, he does look up.
You think?
So.
What?
He does look up to me.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I think you really should talk to him about it, but of course, do it in a very constructive way.
I've been tempted, babes, to just tell other people in our social circle about it and see if they bring it up. But I don't know.
Maybe you should start, or maybe you should start with that. I mean, if you're not comfortable saying it to him, maybe you should start with that. I mean, There are some times where I thought about telling friends of mine, hey, you really have to think about such and such, whatever the behavior is. Because maybe, and sometimes it's hard. It really is. I don't like telling people what they're doing wrong.
No. We'll see what happens.
As much as I don't like being told that I'm doing wrong, I don't like telling people that they're doing wrong.
Oh. Jaylo. Well, hopefully it'll turn out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just too bad that you, it's just too bad that you had to witness that yet, though, with that.
I went down a Siskel and Ebert rabbit hole yesterday. And started watching a lot of their old shows on YouTube, yes. And I don't know, it seems like every few months I'll do that. Mm-hmm. But it made me think, babes, that what would be really cool to do? There's a specific reason why I bring it up in relation to you. Is we should do a documentary on artists' weekends, right? And so the reason this came up when I was watching the Siskel and Ebert stuff yesterday is Roger Ebert wrote a book called Life Itself, which is kind of like his parting autobiography or memoir, as you might say. He was a big fan of the movie Hoop Dreams, and the director of that film ended up adapting the book into a documentary that was really, really good.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't know. It might be something fun to like watch that along with Crumb, and then maybe the next night, because there was a movie you wanted to show me about the Funk Brothers.
Yes. That is a very good documentary. Yes.
Yeah. And the one on Roger Ebert is really, really good, in my opinion. I don't know. What would you think about doing a documentary on creative people weekend?
Possibly. There's another one that I really liked called The Wrecking Crew.
That's what it was. It was the Wrecking Crew.
Well, no, it was both of them. The Wrecking Crew and Standing in the Shadow of Motown.
Gotcha. So maybe we do those on either Friday or Saturday of one week, and we do Life Itself and Crumb on the other night.
Possibly, yes. What is Crumb?
Crumb is about author Crumb. He's I think he might still be alive. He's a cartoonist. I believe he lives in France now, but he wrote all these underground comics. I want to say he started in like the 60s or early 70s, and he's a very interesting character.
I wonder if there is a documentary on Charles Schultz, because I thought Charles Schultz was kind of interesting.
I'm sure there's got to be something.
Yeah. I'd like to know. I'd like to know about like I know I've mentioned in a previous podcast episode, I think it was, that I got to talk to famous cartoonist Kathy Guisewite. Kathy Guisewite on the phone.
She answered the phone. You're like, Kathy.
No, the fact that she took time out of her morning to call me was something. I thought, wow, she didn't have to do it. I mean, she probably has a really big, busy schedule.
That is actually pretty cool. I've never read stuff, but that's neat though.
Yeah. But I also knew her niece, which I'm not sure if she was an aunt by marriage or if she was blood, related to her by blood, but the fact that she's like, oh yeah, my Aunt Kathy will call you, and she certainly did. She definitely delivered.
When I was in high school, I had a pretty good friend of mine who met Gary Larson. I think that's the guy's name. He used to do the Far Side cartoon.
I don't think I've ever heard of him. The Far Side cartoon, did you see it?
Well, they did like a couple animated specials in the 90s, but I believe it was more known as one of those cartoons that you read in the newspaper.
Okay.
I wasn't too familiar with the stuff, but my friend was a big fan.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, babes.
Yeah.
Yes. You sound tired, Jaylo.
I am a little bit. Once I did fall asleep last night, which I think I went to sleep by between 12 and 1, somewhere around there. I woke up, I started to wake up around between 8 and 9, which is good. And then I officially got up at 9.
Was it awkward and or depressing to be in a bed without me this weekend?
It was not.
Oh, gee, thanks.
No, and I'll tell you why.
I'll
tell you why it wasn't. And it has nothing to do with you. Really.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying because, for most of the week, I'm used to being alone. So it's not like, it's not any different from any other day because I normally wouldn't, have anybody in my room anyway. So it's not, no, I wasn't depressed and it didn't feel weird, because I'm usually alone a lot of the time.
Okay, way to make your man feel good, babes.
No. Well, you want me to be honest,
I do.
Well, what do you want me to say? I was so sad.
Oh, well, now I feel better.
It was the most depressing night and the most depressing morning ever.
Nice. Oh, well,
is that better?
Yeah. Now I feel good.
Okay.
Thank you, Jaylo.
No. Don't take it so personally, Bugs.
Okay, babes.
Don't take it so personally.
Okay,
well, how did you feel this morning knowing that you couldn't see me yesterday?
It was fine. I rested. I got a good night's sleep. I maybe stayed up a little bit longer than I normally would because I was watching a lot of YouTube videos. And I was trying to watch this movie that I believe I like, but we'll get back to that in a second. But in any event, it was fine. I stayed up a little bit later than I think I should have, but besides for that, it was good.
Oh, good.
But, it's just I'm just so unique and special that I would assume not being around me would be difficult for you.
A little conceited, are we?
Oh my goodness. You can't be, but I still love you, babes.
No, hey, don't turn it on me.
Oh.
Don't you turn it on me.
Well, I still love you. So I watched this movie last night, babes, and I think I really enjoyed it. Now, here's why I say I think instead of for sure I enjoyed it. My TV was buffering, so I had to stop and restart the movie 4 or 5 different times just to get to the finish line with it. And it was only an hour and a half movie.
Tell me, Jane, what it was called?
It was called America's Sweethearts. It starred Billy Crystal, Julia Roberts, John Cusack, and Catherine Zeta-Jones. I believe, Christopher Walken was in it too, and it's basically Billy Crystal plays this publicist, and it came out in 2001.
Wow.
He has to organize this press junket to help promote this movie by this director who the studio is very excited to work with. The only problem is nobody at the studio has seen this film, and it stars a couple who has since broken up and had a very bitter split. So he has to make it seem like there's a small possibility that they might be getting back together.
Oh, wow.
And Catherine Zeta-Jones plays the woman in the couple. Julia Roberts is her sister/assistant who's attracted to the ex-husband played by John Cusack. And Hank Azaria plays Catherine Zeta-Jones' new boyfriend.
Oh, wow.
I think it was really good. I enjoyed it. It's a little bit over the top, but it's fun.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Wow, okay. So Catherine Zeta-Jones and John Cusack had to make it look like they were getting back together for this publicist.
But the thing was, they had to make it look like that to the press because he's organizing a whole weekend where he's inviting movie critics and writers to hang out before they actually see the film. So he knows that they hate each other, but he has to make it look like they might get back together.
That must have been a funny movie, though.
It was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
That must have been hilarious.
There's some pretty good things in it.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you like Julia Roberts in this movie?
Yeah, I mean, Julia Roberts is one of those people, I don't feel one way or another about her. She's good, but she's not great, in my opinion. But she was good in this movie.
Right, okay.
I thought Billy Crystal was actually really good in it, and so was Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Ah.
And John Cusack is good in pretty much everything that I've seen.
Uh-huh.
Even hot tub time.
That sounds like a really weird, sounds like a really weird, movie for men. I don't know.
It's a fun popcorn movie, but it's not like a deep film that's going to have you thinking for days after you see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. It's like, no, yeah, we'll just watch this, get out the popcorn and ice cream or whatever it is.
There's nothing else to see. This might be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you watch any movies last night?
I did not. I wasn't in a movie mood.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean I won't. That doesn't mean I may watch something tonight. I haven't figured that out. I have a lot of movies that are saved onto my computer, and there's so much there. I have quite a bit to choose from that I haven't watched in a while.
Could I give you a audio description assignment?
What's that?
Could you see if you could find an audio description version, or an audio descriptive version rather, of the Seventh Samurai, or Seven Samurai it's called, Seven Samurai by Akira Kurosawa?
Seventh Samurai, okay.
Seven Samurai. I for some reason I keep saying the Seventh Samurai, but it's really seven, just like the number seven is spelled, and then samurai.
Seven Samurai, okay.
Yes. And the reason I want it is because there's no dubbed version. And obviously I'm not going to watch the movie that's just completely subtitled.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm also giving you this film is because you say that the places you go have some foreign films, but this is considered like one of the most influential movies of all time. So if there's any foreign film you could find, this should probably be at the top of the list.
Yeah, I think there may be a couple. Well, I watched a part of I forgot what film it was. I think it might have been part of A Beautiful Life, but it was in Italian. And I would usually have somebody read me the subtitles. And I don't watch a lot of foreign films actually.
How did that work with A Beautiful Life? So the dialogue was in Italian, but the description was in English?
No, I had a relative read me the subtitles if they were able to.
Okay. See if you can find Seven Samurai for me.
Okay.
Because I really want to see it. As a film fan, I keep hearing how great it is. And I've heard that for decades now. So I want to see, because last night I tried to see if I could find an audio descriptive version of it, because it is on some streaming sites, but there's nothing I could find of it in audio descriptive in English, or any even dubbed versions of it.
How do you spell samurai?
Samurai is Samuri.
Yeah, samurai. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just like how Japanese would be in Japanese, or how the Japanese would spell it. Yeah. Okay. I'll see what I can do. I'm also going to look up that one movie that you want me to see called In the Company of Men.
Yes. Oh, I think I spelled it wrong. So it's Samurai.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I can definitely look at it.
Nice.
1954?
1954.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. But we might do a movie night tomorrow night, babes, over the phone.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
We did that once before, right after the pandemic started, when we watched Dirty Dancing together.
That was hard because my computer it seemed like YouTube on my end kept buffering. I hate
I remember that because you were at like a spot in the film that was like a couple minutes behind where I was.
I know. I was so annoyed. I'm like, ah. Yeah, it was annoying.
Yes. Did we do that one other time, or was that the only time we watched the movie over the phone?
We did that, and we did La La Land, which was slightly a little bit better, but it was not. Yeah. It was still buffering.
I really liked La La Land. I thought I did too. What's her name? Emma Stone was good in it. The one guy was good in it. John Legend was good in it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And the music was good too.
Yeah, the music was surprisingly good.
Yeah, but then I like musicals too. So I mean, I can hear somebody trying to rev up their engine.
Oh.
And they're having a hard time. And I'm like, yeah, somebody's trying to rev up their engine.
That makes sense.
Yes. I think what was worse for me, well, I don't know if I would call it worse. It was equally bad, but I went through a windstorm. I think I told you that in 2006 in Seattle. There was a windstorm, and I believe it was like around Christmas time. And I woke up one morning. It was a Saturday morning. I do remember this, and I realized it was really cold. And I went in to take a shower, and I had to hurry because it was a cold shower. And I got dressed. Somebody knocked at my door and said, "Hey, I just want to let you know there's a windstorm. The power's out. Don't open your refrigerator." So I think I decided, okay, I'm just going to go back to sleep for about 7 more hours. That's what happened. And then I woke up at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and the lights came back on and everything came back on.
Well, that's good.
It was good. It was cold. It was very cold.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm also glad I stayed at my place because I was a little bit concerned that the power might go out at your place. Like, not that I want to go out here, but I live in a neighborhood to where I feel like they'd get to it quicker here.
Mm. Why do you think they would get to it?
I just like my neighborhood better. I think they're better at that type of stuff. But also, I was watching the part of the local news this morning. I didn't see the whole thing, but it didn't sound like there was a lot of power outages last night, like they were expecting.
Which I'm glad.
Yeah.
I always worry about that.
I could have just talked the part of where they weren't talking.
I always worry about it because, Portland is a big city. I always worry about, I've worried about, like, if we went into a storm, if we had a storm that I was going to have a power outage. Or somebody close to me was going to have a power outage or something or if you were going to have a power outage. But so far, so good. No power outage here.
That's good. By the way, babes, did you hear about that earthquake off the coast of Japan?
No.
Yeah, it was like a 7-something, and it was close to these nuclear power plants. But right now, at least, that they're saying that there was no damage done to the nuclear facilities, which is good.
Wow. Do you remember that year? I think it was 2010.
Yes, I do remember.
Do you remember? Yes. Well, hold on.
Okay.
What?
Go ahead. You said hold on.
No, I was going to explain it, and you interrupted me. There was an earthquake.
Go ahead. Explain it to me. What happened?
There was an earthquake in Japan that was a 9.0 earthquake. Did you remember that?
Yes, babe. I just said with Fukushima when you said 2010.
No, but I couldn't hear you because your phone had a delay, and so and you were interrupting me. before I could even say Fukushima.
Because you're like, you remember 2010? I'm like, yes, with Fukushima. And he said, hold on. The angel.
Well, because this is the hard thing about recording on cell phones or recording something with cell phones is that there's a delay, and you kind of have to stop and like say, sorry, there's a delay. But anyway, yeah, the Fukushima earthquake, I'll never forget that, because that was a whopper of an earthquake.
Yeah, I feel sorry for the people who live by that power plant.
I know what they may have lost and how many lives were spared versus how many lives have died because of it. I think there was a lot of casualties, if I remember correctly.
And a lot of people whose lives just got shortened because they're so close to that nuclear energy.
Yeah, well, that's basically what I was, alluding to.
I know, Biz, but not everybody died that day. Some people haven't died yet, but eventually will from the fallout from that disaster.
Well, it's kind of, I think about things like that, like, the atom bomb, how that has caused people to have leukemia, and Agent Orange. I have talked to someone that got blind because of, no, that's not right. He got cancer because of Agent Orange. I'm not sure how he got blind, but,
I remember back in the 90s, this was when A&E was still like somewhat educational before it just became reality TV.
Yes,
I used to watch it.
Yeah.
And they had this, it was a 4 or 5 part documentary on the history of Las Vegas. It was really good. But they're talking about in the early 1950s, they would, the government would detonate atom bombs in Nevada. And they'd kind of like advertisements. So late at night, people would just stand out without any protection and watch the government detonate these nuclear bombs.
That is just crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did I ever tell you this, babes, that my mom's grandfather used to work in a nuclear power plant back in the 50s?
No, that is crazy. No, I have not. What happened?
According to my mom, so take this with a grain of salt because I wasn't there, they would send him in to work on the nuclear reactor without any protective gear on. And then he ended up getting this really weird stomach cancer and dying.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
That's, wow. Not good at all.
No.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
That's what you say, babe. That's what she said. That's crazy. That's what she said.
Okay.
I don't know. Some people say that. It's probably some stupid thing from The Office, but it makes me laugh, even though the show doesn't.
No, I never got into the show. I had friends that got into the show, and I was just like, okay. I mean, there were some funny parts in it, but I don't think it was quite as funny as Scrubs.
Oh, Scrubs is hilarious.
It is really, and I didn't watch a lot of Scrubs, but I did like it when I watched it.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. I liked how they also talked about death, because I think there was one scene where JD was dealing with the loss of a patient.
Yeah, we talked about this before, but there was. It was good, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And I liked how they handled that.
JD, just dog.
Okay.
You haven't seen Dead Like Me.
No, I think you may have told me about it.
Okay, it's a good show, but in the early episodes, so this girl gets killed, and her mom and sister have to like put together the pieces of their lives. They find this dog, and it has this collar that says JD. So they decide to name it Just Dog.
Just Dog.
Yeah.
Was that the one series you told me that when she dies her name is Toilet Seat Girl?
Yes, because the way she died, she was looking for a job, and this toilet seat fell off of the International Space Station and hit her in the head. So all the other angels call her Toilet Seat Girl.
I had to laugh at that. What a weird way to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like being hit with a blimp. You know, well, I mean.
Yes.
Can you imagine attending her funeral and somebody decides to talk about the way she died and then everybody starts erupting in laughter?
Yes.
I'm guessing this is a comedy, right?
Yeah, it was a comedy on Showtime. I only watched like the first season because you know how Showtime shows get. They usually end up, really bad, but I did enjoy the first year of it.
Well, I don't watch Showtime. I don't watch Showtime, and I never really watched it, so I wouldn't know that. But I'll take your word for it.
Okay.
I will take your word for it.
Yeah, their shows either start off and they're really cheesy and they just don't get better, or what they'll do is they'll keep a show on until like nobody likes it anymore.
Mm.
Yeah. Yes. But anyways.
Yes.
Is there anything else you want to discuss?
I didn't.
Tired.
No, I didn't. I didn't have any dreams. I'm a little bit tired, but I'm not like super sleepy right now.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I will say this. So I'll talk a little bit about 1984 and where I am.
Go ahead.
So I don't know how many parts of this book is still there that I'm gonna listen to before it's over, but it's getting really, really good. And I'm at the part where Julia and Winston somehow end up in O'Brien's house together. And he is one of the people that I believe is in the inner party, or that is pretending to be a part of the party, but he has broken off and is in a group called the Brotherhood. And in fact, he's able to turn off the telescreen so that he can only have it off for an hour, but he gets them in there, and he gets them to his house, and he asks them questions like, are you prepared to murder anyone if you have to? Are you prepared to change your identity? Are you prepared to leave each other and never see each other again? And of course they're not ready for that. And he basically says that his servant, because he has servants in his house, his servant Martin will see them. They'll see their faces again because apparently he's a part of that group. And O'Brien remarks and says, Martin, look at their faces, remember them. You will see them again, but I may not. So it's kind of interesting. Very, very interesting. And they have to leave.
Yes.
They have to leave the house separately, of course.
Yes.
Because if they were caught, they would be arrested, questioned, put in prison, and then they would have died.
Nice. Well, I'm glad that you're enjoying it, babes.
I am.
Yes, babes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, good.
But I didn't have any dreams.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, well, I love you, babes.
I love you too.
Well, good. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or what are you thinking?
Do you want to talk after this?
Well, what do you want to talk about after this?
I don't know. Anything outside of this.
Oh, you feel too guarded over the phone doing this.
Yeah, I'd rather talk to you outside of this podcast episode, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it feels like we're going over a lot of old stuff, too. But
yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yes.
I am a big Joe Rogan fan, as you know.
Yes.
And, like, sometimes he'll just, like, repeat the same stories over and over again.
I always worry that I'm doing that, and I know that I have, and I'm trying to, I mean, the only reason why I would do that is to make another point concerning that story, but I try not to do that because I'm like, oh, he's probably thinking, you're repeating it, I've heard it 1,000 times, but then you repeat
When
them
you
too.
Brought up Scrub, I started thinking to myself, how long before she starts talking about the blanks?
No. I know I've talked about them before. I think they were funny.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I thought they were funny.
Yes, babes.
No, I wasn't going to talk about the blanks, as you found out.
That's good. That's good. Well, good, babe. So I can call you back in just a minute if you want.
Yay! Okay.
Yes. All right, babes.
I have one more thing to say.
Go ahead.
Before we get off of this episode, I have to say, yes, I have to say, I hope you all have a happy Valentine's Day, whether you have someone or you don't, and hopefully you're not stuck in a snow and ice storm like we are. But I hope it's filled with a lot of love and a lot of chocolate and other goodies.
Yeah, you know what's crazy, babes, is
What?
Friday, yesterday, was supposed to be the first day that restaurants in Portland were going to allow indoor seating again.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I think you told me about that. Yes. Yes. That is crazy. But then we didn't know how big the storm was going to be either.
It's unfortunate for sure.
It is, but we will get through it just like we've got through other things.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then we'll shut down again.
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen. But we'll have to see what happens with that.
Do you want to talk about the impeachment a little bit?
No, I don't.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
No, I don't.
Fair enough, babes. Well, I love you too.
I love you too. Happy weekend, everybody.
Happy weekend.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.